You could give her the world and she still won't care. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth. In this video, we're talking about a brutal reality most men don't want to face. Women don't care about everything you do for them. You could buy her gifts, solve her problems, be there for her 24/7, but if you're not giving her what she actually wants, none of that matters. She'll lose interest or start treating you like you're replaceable. And you'll be sitting there wondering, after everything I did, how could she walk away like that? Welcome to the channel where we speak to men with clarity, truth and zero sugarcoating. Today's topic is uncomfortable but necessary. The 5 things women really want and why all your effort means nothing without them. This isn't about hating women, it's about understanding them. Because the moment you grasp what truly matters to a woman beneath all the polite words and social media quotes, you stop wasting your time, energy, and money on things that don't move the needle. So why do so many good men get walked all over? Because they believe that being nice, loyal, and generous will automatically win her over. But that's not how attraction works. Women don't fall in love with effort, they fall in love with impact. This video is going to strip away the illusions. No more guessing, no more hoping that being a good guy will be enough. I'm going to walk you through 5 core things a woman actually wants from a man. And once you understand this, you'll stop overgiving and start standing out. Let's break it all down. Step by effort doesn't equal desire. Step 1 effort doesn't equal desire. Men are raised to believe that the more effort you put in, the more you'll be appreciated. That's true in sports, in school, and in business. But when it comes to women, that logic can actually work against you. Women don't automatically desire a man just because he tries hard. In fact, too much effort, especially early on, can make you look desperate, emotionally needy, and low value. And that's not attractive. The uncomfortable truth is just because you're doing a lot doesn't mean she feels anything for you. Desire is emotional. It's not logical. She doesn't think, wow, he texts me every morning and bought me dinner twice. I guess I should like him now. That's not how it works. She wants to feel a pull toward you that she can't explain, and that pull doesn't come from effort. It comes from presence, confidence, and unpredictability. Here's how it plays out. A guy meets a woman and starts doing everything for her. He offers rides, buys gifts, showers her with compliments, and responds to every message within seconds. He thinks he's showing her how serious and committed he is, but from her perspective, it feels off too much, too soon. She starts to wonder, why is he trying so hard? What does he want from me? Why doesn't he have anything else going on? Now contrast that with a man who doesn't overextend. He shows interest, but he's not throwing himself at her. He has his own life, his own rhythm. He engages her without trying to impress her. That man makes her curious. She feels something. And that feeling turns into attraction. The lesson is simple. Effort without impact is wasted motion. You're not being judged by how much you do, but by how you make her feel. That's what desire is built on. Work smarter, not harder, because if effort alone worked, every nice guy would be married by now. 2, she craves emotional power. She craves emotional power, not presence. Here's something most men never figure out. Women don't fall in love with the man who gives them the most. They fall for the man who makes them feel the most. It's not about what you hand her, it's about how you affect her emotionally. A lot of men think they can buy loyalty or love through gifts, favours, or constant attention. They assume that if they keep giving, she'll see their value and choose them. But the truth is, women want emotional leverage in a relationship. They want to feel like they have your attention, your focus, your energy, without you being fully in control of it. It's a power dynamic, and most men hand over the power without even realizing it. You could spend money on her plan, every detail of her birthday, and treat her like a queen, and she still might feel emotionally disconnected. Why? Because it's not about the thing you're giving. It's about the feeling she gets when she's around you. And if she feels like she has all the control, all the certainty, or the emotional leverage, she loses interest fast. She doesn't want to be worried. She wants to be stimulated. She wants the emotional ride, not the perfect routine. Predictability is not romantic. Emotional engagement is. She wants to feel tension, curiosity, anticipation. She wants the kind of connection that keeps her guessing a little, not a man who's trying to win her approval every second of the day. This is where most men mess up. They confuse providing for a woman with pleasing her emotionally. Those are two different games. You can be generous without being weak. You can, without being predictable, and you can make her feel secure without giving her full control. When a woman gets used to you giving everything and expecting nothing, she gets bored. She starts seeing you as someone she can manage, not someone she craves. And once you lose that emotional edge, the attraction fades quietly. Understand this. Women want to feel emotionally alive. They want to be moved by you, not just treated well. It's the man who can stir something inside her that keeps her coming back. Stop trying to buy what can only be earned through presence, unpredictability, and emotional depth. 3. Nice guys are her safety net. Nice guys are her safety net. Not her choice, not her choice. Let's talk about the nice guy. The man who's polite, respectful, available, helpful, always there when she needs him. Sounds like the perfect man, right? Wrong. Nice guys are appreciated. Yes, they're even liked, but they're rarely chosen. And if they are, it's often out of convenience, not deep desire. Here's the thing. Most men don't realize. When a woman feels bored, unsure, or emotionally unstable, she knows the nice guy is always on standby. He's the safety net, the backup plan, the one she keeps around, because he's safe, predictable, and easy to manage. He never challenges her, never pulls back, never risks upsetting her comfort zone, and for that reason, she never sees him as a real contender. She knows she can control the nice guy, and control kills attraction. The nice guy does everything right on paper, but in doing so, he loses all edge. He becomes the emotional sponge, always absorbing her problems, but never creating the spark. She'll vent to him about the guy who treats her like an afterthought, and the nice guy will sit there listening, hoping his patience earns him a shot, but deep down, she's not turned on by the man who agrees with everything she says. She's drawn to the one who makes her feel something real, even if it's uncomfortable. Men confuse being nice with being valuable. But niceness alone is not a qualification for attraction. It's a default setting. It's the bare minimum. And when you lead with niceness, you strip yourself of any tension, any challenge, any polarity. You become predictable. And predictable is boring. The truth is, women want contrast. They want a man who's kind but firm, loving but strong present, but not dependent. The guy who can tell her no. The guy who doesn't bend over backward just to avoid making her upset. That's the man she respects. That's the man she chooses. Being nice doesn't make you special. What makes you stand out is your ability to be solid, confident, and unmoved by her moods or approval. Women don't want to feel like they're dating a fan. They want to feel like they're with a man. The moment you stop trying to be the good guy and start being the real guy with standards, direction, and backbone, you shift from being her backup to being her validation makes you weak. In her eyes focus. 4. Validation makes you weak in her eyes. Most men don't realize just how damaging it is to constantly seek validation from a woman. They think being open, expressive, and emotionally available all the time is a strength. But when it crosses the line into needing her approval, her attention, or her praise, it becomes weakness, and women sense that weakness immediately. A man who constantly looks for reassurance is not in control of himself. He's outsourcing his confidence. He needs her to tell him he's good enough. He needs her to respond quickly to feel secure. He needs her attention to feel like a man. And that's the exact energy that pushes her away. Because here's the truth. A woman doesn't want to lead your emotional state. She doesn't want to be your constant cheerleader. She doesn't want to feel responsible for how you feel about yourself. That's exhausting. And when she senses that you need her reactions to feel okay, she starts losing attraction, even if she can't explain why. Validation should flow naturally. It should never be begged for. When you start fishing for compliments, over-explaining yourself, or constantly asking if she's okay with you, what you're really doing is handing over your masculine frame. You're putting her in a dominant emotional role, and that kills the dynamic. It's not about being cold or emotionally unavailable. It's about being emotionally self-sufficient. When a man has inner certainty, he doesn't chase after her words to feel whole. He already knows who he is, whether she compliments him or not, whether she replies quickly or slowly, whether she's hot or cold. He remains steady that steadiness is rare. And because it's rare, it's attractive. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to keep asking if you're doing everything right. A man who constantly looks for validation is showing that he doesn't trust his own value. And if you don't trust it, why would she? Women are drawn to men who don't flinch, men who don't collapse when they're not praised, men who don't second-guess themselves every time a woman's mood changes. That type of man isn't reactive. He's grounded, and that's the kind of man a woman can respect. If you find yourself constantly needing reassurance, it's a sign to pull back. Not from her, but from that habit. The more you validate yourself, the less power you give away. And the less power you give away, the more she feels your presence, not your desperation. 5. Mystery beats. Mystery beats consistency every time, consistency every time. There's this common idea floating around that women just want a consistent guy. Someone who shows up, does the right things, and never rocks the boat. While consistency is important, later in a relationship, it's not what creates attraction. In the early stages, when she's deciding whether she's drawn to you or not, mystery is far more powerful than routine. Why? Because mystery creates emotion. It keeps her thinking about you. It builds curiosity. And curiosity is the foundation of obsession. A man who's too consistent too soon becomes predictable. She knows when you're going to call. She knows you'll always text back right away. She knows what you're going to say, how you'll react, and what you'll do. And when she can predict all of that, there's no tension, no excitement, no emotional spark left to chase. Now here's the part most men get wrong. They think being mysterious means playing games. It doesn't. Mystery isn't about manipulation. It's about being a man with a full life priorities and presence that doesn't revolve around her. You don't need to pretend to be unavailable. You just need to actually be unavailable sometimes because you're living with purpose. Here's how it looks in real life. A guy meets a woman and they hit it off. She's into him instead of blowing up her phone planning every day around her or trying to see her 3 times a week. He keeps a steady, confident energy. He checks in occasionally, sets up plans, but isn't always available on demand. She notices that he's not chasing her. He's engaged, but he's not desperate for her time. And that space makes her think about him more. She starts wondering what he's doing, who he's with, what he's thinking. That curiosity builds emotional momentum, and now she's chasing him. Mystery makes her feel like she's discovering you, not managing you. When you're always there, she stops wondering. When she stops wondering, she stops feeling drawn in. You don't need to disappear or play hard to get. Just don't offer yourself up like a menu item. Have things going on. Be present when you're with her, but don't make her the center of your world. Let her come to you sometimes. Let her feel like she's earning more of you, not just receiving it by default. Remember, women are emotional creatures. They're pulled in by feelings, not facts. And when a woman doesn't quite know what's coming next, she's much more emotionally invested than when she knows exactly how the story ends. Mystery doesn't mean being distant. It means being dynamic, and that's what keeps her. She wants to feel challenged, not worshipped, hooked. 6. She wants to feel challenged, not worried. This is where so many men get it wrong. They think the way to a woman's heart is through constant praise and admiration. They treat her like royalty, agree with everything she says, and try to be the perfect gentleman, 24/7. But what they don't realize is that when you worship a woman, you put her above you. And the moment you do that, you lose her respect. Worship feels good at first. She might even smile and say how sweet you are. But underneath that, she starts feeling something else. Boredom. Why? Because there's no challenge, no friction, no depth. She doesn't have to earn anything. She knows you're already sold on her, no matter what she does. And when there's nothing to work for, there's nothing to get excited about. Women are wired to be emotionally stimulated. They want to feel something when they're with you, something real. When you worship her, all she feels is safety. And while safety is necessary, it's not what sparks passion. Passion comes from tension. It comes from not being entirely sure if she has you. It comes from a man who's strong enough to stand his ground, disagree when needed and not fold just to keep her happy. A woman doesn't want a doormat. She wants a man who holds himself to a higher standard, someone who respects himself enough not to bow down just because she's attractive. A man who challenges her mentally, emotionally, and sometimes even spiritually. That's what keeps her on her toes. That's what keeps her engaged. It's not about being rude or distant. It's about being real. It's about having a spine. If something doesn't sit right with you, speak up. If you don't agree with her view, say so calmly and confidently. Don't avoid conflict just to keep the peace. Because in avoiding conflict, you avoid growth. And without growth, the connection flatlines. Men who worship women often think they're doing the noble thing, but what they're really doing is placing her above them in value. That imbalance kills attraction over time. Women don't want to be put on a pedestal. They want to stand beside a man who challenges them to be better, who expects something back, who doesn't crumble under pressure. A woman may say she wants a nice guy who always puts her first. But deep down, what she feels drawn to is a man who knows his worth and doesn't hand it over just to win her attention. So stop trying to worship her. Start being the man she has to rise up to meet. 7 being needed is not the same. Being needed is not the same as being wanted as being wanted. One of the biggest lies men tell themselves in relationships is this: she needs me, so I'm safe. But what they don't realize is being needed has nothing to do with being desired. You can be the one who pays her bills, solves her problems, listens to her breakdowns, and helps her through life. You can be her emotional support system, her go-to guy, her dependable rock, and yet she can still not want you. And this is where many men fool themselves. They confuse their utility with attraction. They think, well, she always comes to me when she's down, or she can't live without me. But what they don't see is the emotional gap. She's using the man for comfort, not craving him for connection. That's a hard truth, but men need to wake up. You were not put on this earth to be a woman's emotional crutch or her backup plan. You weren't born to be the helpful guy who waits on her while she chases after the ones who stir her emotions. If she needs you but doesn't want you, you're not in a relationship, you're in a transaction. Too many men are addicted to being needed. It makes them feel valuable. It feeds their ego. But deep down, they know something's missing. There's no spark, no passion, no intimacy, just a quiet sense of duty that slowly eats away at their masculinity. Here's the truth. Being wanted means she chooses you, not just for help, but for connection. She reaches for you because she's drawn to you, not because she's falling apart and needs someone to lean on. That difference matters. Men need to stop settling for scraps of appreciation disguised as love. They need to stop being proud of being the dependable guy if that dependability is being used as a leash. You weren't meant to be tolerated. You're meant to be respected and desired. If she only calls when she's in a bind, if she only stays because you're useful, if she never looks at you like you're a man she craves, then it's time to take a hard look in the mirror. That's not love. That's survival. And survival isn't enough. This is your wake-up call. Stop being content with being needed. Start becoming the man who is wanted. That means working on yourself, raising your standards, building a life that commands respect, not just dependence. You'll know the difference when a woman doesn't just rely on you. She admires you, she respects you, she chooses you even when she doesn't have to. That's the kind of man you were meant to be. Let's round things off with this. Men spend years doing giving, fixing, and pleasing thinking. It'll make her love them. But the truth, most women don't leave because you didn't do enough. They leave because you never made them feel what they really wanted to feel. And here's the controversial part. A woman will walk away from the man who gave her everything to chase the man who gave her nothing except emotional intensity. Let that sink in. This is the game you're in. It's not about how useful you are. It's about how you carry yourself, how you make her feel, and whether or not you have the strength to be desired, not just needed. You were never meant to be the guy who gets tolerated. You were meant to be the guy who gets remembered. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me what part of this hit the hardest. What have you experienced in your own relationships? I read the comments personally and I respond because this isn't just content. This is a community. I want to help you become the kind of man women don't forget. If you're ready to stop playing the game the wrong way, this is your starting point. I'm with you. Let's build something real.